Hi everyone and welcome to WARNO. Today we've got the first two matches, yes, two because they're fairly short, so I thought I'd stick them in one video, of the first ever monthly WARNO 1v1 tournament. Today we are going to be watching ElBowser versus Sir Infernos. ElBowser playing in this game as the 5th Panzer Division in red, and in blue we have Sir Infernos as the 7th Panzer Division, so both the German decks in play here. Let's get this show on the road. So this is the first game of the two. Obviously you will all be very familiar with this map. It was used in the previous tournament. Main points being Delta, which is where most of the fighting happens. Foxtrot, Golf, not a lot tends to happen there because Foxtrot is kind of a slog to take over because of all the buildings. And up here the same, especially when it comes to Alpha. But we might see something different. It really depends what these guys have planned. So over here we have ElBowser with an unusual name, but we'll leave it at that. And you can notice that he's got quite a lot of infantry down here at the bottom. I think he's actually going to try and push into Foxtrot immediately. He's not sending a whole lot to the middle, but to be honest, it doesn't look like either player is sending a lot to the center. There's a few units up there. Most of the forces seem to be going for Foxtrot. And it does appear that ElBowser is going to push that fairly hard. I'm quite surprised by that. I was expecting that it wasn't going to be quite such a hard push into Foxtrot. I've seen it done before, but not frequently. Up here we have not a lot happening, more defensive lines. Interestingly, Sir Infernos putting quite a few units sort of defensively in Hotel. He's got 2 command vehicles there, which seems a bit of a waste. Take that back, sorry. That is just a Shilka. For some reason I thought it also had a command marker on it. My bad. So basically not a lot happening in the center. This is where the fight is going to be. Look at all these Pioneer Flams. Loads of them. ElBowser's intent here is to take this position. Calling in some tanks there. I assume to push towards the center. Little to nothing happening at the top right now. All the focus seems to be at the bottom. I do notice a Roland 2 coming in at the top and tank. A couple of tanks down here. Some more infantry, some arm bursts. This is where the fighting is. Good use of those BMPs because the Pioneer Flams will not do anything to the vehicles really. However, there are some standard Jaegers there, and there are the Jaeger Aufkurs which will be able to deal with those BMPs, and they are gone. The infantry is mostly dead here. Just some Strelas remaining. 2 squads of Motsuchen. They will not survive very long against all those Pioneer Flams, assuming they have shots left. Really, I'd want to be getting the Pioneer Flams into buildings though. They're currently just sat in the open, I think, yeah. They'll still be doing damage, but they're better in the buildings. They will receive less damage from the Motsuchen that are still surviving. They have managed to kill a Strela squad, though. And I think Infernos is in a bit of trouble at the bottom here. This is a very hard and fast push by ElBowser. Center of the map. Leopard 2A3 going in there. Jeopard there as well. That chopper has been killed that was up there. Not a lot happening there, but really at the moment ElBowser has control. Lots of forces or points being spent to defend this point, but really no interest from ElBowser to push that one. Some more infantry coming in, the Roland coming in, another Leopard or 2 coming in at the top there. Down here, not a lot coming in, just those tanks that were heading towards the center. Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a bit of a struggle. Now, interestingly, the truth is that currently Infernos is getting the points because he's actually captured 2, whereas no points captured for ElBowser at the moment. And that is the 3rd point now captured for Infernos. Relying on more Motsuchen coming in here. I mean, it's a difficult one because, truthfully, the 7th Panzer flamethrowers just aren't that good. They need to be altered or fixed. They're just not great in terms of being in a town, because they won't shoot from building to building with that flamethrower. Or at least they certainly didn't in our testing. Mi-24 will be very useful for providing cover fire, but it doesn't have a lot of rockets. You really want a proper rocket gunship to do that. Anti-air jet coming in there. I'm not sure what was in the other side, unless the intent was to go for that chopper. Center firmly held by ElBowser now. Top of the map, not really still any movement there. It's all concentration down here at the moment. I do see another command infantry there coming in for Infernos. I mean, Infernos could win purely on points, but surely by now, yes, there we go. I was about to say, surely ElBowser is bringing command vehicles, and yes, indeed, there we can see Iltis coming in at the far side there. 3 of them in total, so they'll be going for all 3 of those points. Unless he stays back here in Charlie and just neutralizes for the moment, but honestly, I'd be going straight for Delta for the extra 3 points. He is in firm control of that point now. Down here, those flams were out of ammo. So, Pioneer flams, absolutely devastating going into a town. But they're dying and they're out of ammo. Once those hand flam patrons are out of ammo, they're going to get torn to shreds. And unfortunately, Bowser sent them in, but didn't send any supply in with them. So his push here, while initially super effective, pushed Infernos all the way out. And I mean, I was quite impressed by that. He didn't reinforce those Pioneer Flam and didn't rearm them. So they're going to be an annoyance, but most of them are dead. That's unfortunate. I think ElBowser could have kept those alive and been a real pain in this point and made sure that this was dead. There is a Leopard command tank being called in at this side of it, though. Random jets being called in now. There is a rocket jet there. I'm just not convinced by those, I'm afraid. I wouldn't really bother with them. And it's dead anyway. Up at the top, those T-72s, an early purchase for Sir Infernos that unfortunately just haven't really done much the entire game. They're not the most expensive tank, but they're expensive enough that you want to be doing something with them. I would have sent those to the center, to be honest. Some Matsuchin coming in there, but the points are neutralized now. And realistically, there is a Leopard command tank coming in, heading towards the center. There is another one heading towards Foxtrot. For me, at the moment, even at this stage, ElBowser has a firm control of the map. The front line's pushed reasonably far forward in Foxtrot, and unfortunately, Sir Infernos just isn't pushing back through that quickly enough. And by the time he gets to this side of it, you know, these Pioneer arm bursts are going to be there doing some damage. And in the middle here, a Pioneer commander, that was a risky move. I mean, by this point of the game, without scouting first or sending something else in to see what was there, I mean, they're not going to survive. They're going to get killed by something. He's moving those arm bursts down. Yeah. Little bit of a movement forward here, but equally, I think this is ElBowser pushing forward, trying to see what Infernos has up here. Missed with those bombs there. I think Sir Infernos is on the back foot here, and I think it's going to be difficult for him to recover after a very early aggressive maneuver with all of those command vehicles. Getting those points early, it was a good idea. It was obvious that ElBowser hadn't spent points on that, but that securing of forward positions has allowed ElBowser to basically get ahead. All he has to do is secure this point and keep securing it. Keep it neutralized, keep bringing in more infantry. This command infantry, I mean, he's still moving it into position, but it's just going to die. Something's going to kill it. I just wouldn't even bother. I'd just move it out of the way until reinforcements get there. I know it's important to decap, but they're going to know where it is. I mean, they know that they've got units there, so it's probably not on that side. I don't know. Cluster strike up here. There is a bit of movement. Infernos is being pushed back by not a lot of stuff from ElBowser. He does have a 2A3 there. Obviously, very effective unit. Yeah, Infernos is pulling back. And Infernos has lost those two T-72s. They must have died up here, I assume. Well, that's unfortunate. That's an expensive loss for units from that point of the game. Yeah, moving over, they know they must be in this corner now. It's just a case of points ticking up. I feel like there's going to be a real struggle for Sir Infernos to pull it back. Why the Conkers? I mean, I know it's a cheaper unit, but why the Conkers? I'm curious where that's going to go. I'm assuming up here to fire at the Leopard, but just can those Avclara see that Leopard is the question. Let me just switch to Sir Infernos. Yeah, he can see both of those, but that's going to be in range of the tanks. That is going to be in range of those tanks. It's too close. They're going to be able to open fire on it. I mean, realistically, you'd want it back here somewhere as far as... Yeah, see, it's opening fire, but it can be seen and it's dead immediately. That's way too close. Maybe Sir Infernos is fairly new to the game and doesn't know the positioning. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was unfortunately far too close to that tank. Up here in the centre, artillery being used to take out command. I'm not sure what got the command tank that was up there. I assume either the artillery or some cluster bombers. ElBowser making a hard push at the top now. A couple of T-55s in, but they're not really going to pose much of a threat to that Leopard 2A3. And there's a Leopard 1A5 up there as well. I mean, yeah, very much on the back foot, unfortunately, for Infernos at this stage. Just remember to hide the panel. I'm terrible for that. I always forget. I must remember at the start of the game's apologies it was there for so long. More Motsuchin coming in here. I'm not sure what other infantry does have the Pioneer Flamethrower, but yeah. If you get them into the same building as the enemy, they will fire. But you have to get it into the same building. Those Pioneer Flam there only have one shot left. Cluster bomber coming in there. I assume going for the Leopard. Is dropping. Oh, went for the other Leopard. But there were two more Leopards coming in behind it. I think they did get a kill on that tank and another vehicle, but yeah, that's probably a bit of an unstoppable push now. HE bomber coming in as well, going for those Jaeger. Oof. Yeah, I think Infernos is in trouble here. It's only slowly ticking up points-wise at the minute. Oh, there we go. Command vehicle in. Now we'll go back up to +5. So early points grab. Potentially beneficial early game for Infernos, but not being in a position to hold on to Foxtrot, for example, down here. Obviously not ideal at all. And then not having enough units at the top either to hold back this onslaught. I'm just wondering where points have been spent for Infernos. I mean, certainly bringing in a couple of choppers, which I probably... would I have bothered? I'm not sure. Potentially against these tanks. A random Strela stuck down there. He's brought in Motsuchin here, I assume to defend this point, but... I really would... They'd be better spent moving into this position, I think. To get all these infantry out and put pressure on this command tank. There's a fight going on here. The flamethrower is in. It will now be firing. Look, it is firing. It will be doing damage to those guys. There's also the chopper firing at them. But they're badly damaged, though. There's only 2 left. Up at the top. Yeah, I'm afraid Infernos is out of that point. Unless he can do something drastic. Don't see a command vehicle coming in, but even just taking out... Even just taking that out will increase the incomes drastically. There's 23 minutes remaining on this game, but the actual playtime is considerably less. So I'm assuming Infernos may surrender. But yeah, that was a bold move from ElBowser at the start to push Foxtrot that hard. Because if that had failed, that would have been a lot of expense to cap that point or to contest it. Equally, from Infernos' side, a few too many units perhaps in Hotel when they should have been moving down Delta and keeping that fight up for the center point. Passing the point marker for Infernos. ElBowser just pushing ahead. Loads of tanks coming in there for Sir Infernos to try and combat Bowser. Interestingly, Bowser has stopped his little push. Just short of killing that command vehicle. I think he's waiting for the Jaeger to arrive. 2 Leopard command vehicles coming in, so intention to decap that point. Down here in Foxtrot, certainly some progress being made. You know, I just realized it was the Flam Patron that had survived that fight. I'm really surprised by that, considering there was rocket fire going into that point, and they only... I'm really surprised by that. I'm surprised those Flam Patron survived. I honestly thought, when I clicked on it, in my head, I thought it was the blue guys that had survived. The standard flamethrower. Wow. Okay. Up here... not pushing too much. The Jaeger that were further forward have been killed. T-72 just engaging while it can from that distance. T-72, T-55 up there. I'd be careful about getting them too close. Certainly get them into the tree line maybe, but you just... That Leopard 203 is going for that T-72. Got a hit on it. That Leopard's got... Did I get a side shot on that? Possibly, yes. I think these tanks are good at... Yeah. Oof. That took a shot. One will probably die. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Very nice cluster on that tank. A couple of Jeopards there firing. Did they take that out? Missile hitting it as well. I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, I have killed that command tank down there as well. But yeah, I think at this stage, plenty of reinforcements now coming in down here. But look at this. I haven't been paying attention. ElBowser is pushing this point now. So, while initially Sir Infernos dropped off those infantry there and are now trying to move them towards the middle, maybe he should have just kept them in that point after all. It's a little bit of a risky maneuver to try and push those through the center without a vehicle. It takes a long time. There's nothing now defending that. I don't know. I think I would have gone with, if you're going to do that and defend, then do it. But really, I would have brought those units in to attack somewhere and put the pressure on. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sir Infernos has managed to hold on to this top point. Managed to use the bombers to kill all of those tanks by the looks of it. Only the T-55 remaining, though, in terms of what Sir Infernos has there. Down here, another command vehicle in the other corner. Oh dear. Those points still ticking up. And up here, a couple of bombers coming in. Do manage to take out the vehicle. Haven't managed to wipe out the infantry. Has he got anything else to come out? I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, that's dead. Got taken out by the grenadiers. Points now +7 for ElBowser. Loads of stuff moving in, just surrounding that point. It is neutralized. The tank is in there. I've just noticed it in the corner. +9 points. Yeah, I think this is most definitely a win for ElBowser. Very well played by him. I know that he probably streamed this live as well on his channel. I will leave a link to that below. Infernos, I'm not sure if they stream or anything. They can leave a comment down below and I'll happily add the link to the description, should they have a Twitch channel or a YouTube. But yeah, well played to ElBowser in this first match. It's been longer than I expected. But Inferno stuck it out. Well done. The kills and losses weren't too dissimilar. I mean, it's about double to be fair. But yeah, interesting one. Interesting. Leopard 2F3 doing lots of damage there. And the Leopard one, they're really good at the moment, the Leopards. Really, really good. Well, let's hop into the second game. It's a bit shorter than this one, so we'll just go straight into it. Okay, welcome to the second game. Once again, on the right we have ElBowser, on the left we have Sir Infernos. Both teams, or both players I should say this time, playing as the 5th Panzer Division. So both playing as NATO, Germans' 5th Panzer Division. So let's see where we are this time. Again, I'm seeing a huge amount of infantry at the bottom of the map for ElBowser. Now, are they going to go for another Foxtrot push? In the center, not a lot happening from Inferno's side again. Couple of scouts and a Pioneer Flam from ElBowser. And at the top of the map, scouts, a couple of tanks, some infantry. Pretty much the same, similar for both players. Couple of tanks, couple of scouts. Alouette there coming in, getting a bit of a early look at what's coming in for ElBowser. Chopper infantry coming in there, a little bit more expensive, but getting to the front lines quicker. We'll be able to see all of these Jaeger Aufkels and their many friends coming in. What else have we got there? Pioneer Flams, loads of Pioneer Flams, and they'll be going up against Grenadiers, Arm Bursts. Oh, that's a shame. I would have expected from previous experience in the last game that Infernos would have brought his own Pioneer Flams. Maybe he doesn't have any. Possible they're not in the deck for some reason. Oh, let me hide that panel. So immediately going for the caps again, Sir Infernos. And it's a lot of money to spend right at the start if you know your opponent isn't going to do that. It means that ElBowser has a lot more infantry on the field, a lot more vehicles. At least 300 points worth. More than that in the grand scheme of things. And unfortunately for Sir Infernos, I think he's going to struggle in Foxtrot again, because the Pioneer Flams are going to clean up all of these infantry. The Pioneer Flams will have no issue clearing up all of this infantry really quickly. I would love to see ElBowser bringing in... Oh. Very nice. Didn't kill everything, though. Those Pioneer Flams were too far ahead. The MW1 obviously extremely good at clearing infantry from buildings. Extremely good. The best weapon in the game right now. But again, ElBowser has succeeded in getting that foothold. Center, again, ElBowser is in control of that point. And up at the top, ElBowser being more aggressive this time. Trying to keep the pressure on, distracting Sir Infernos by making him cover multiple positions at once. Using a little truck there as a scout, 2 little trucks as scouts. Very clever idea. A lot of units don't automatically fire at them. Leopard 2A3 in a very good position there. Takes out that 1A5 very quickly. Nothing in the center. I really would have liked to see Sir Infernos being a bit more aggressive, putting a couple of units in the center. Down here, making good use of these NW1s, but they're just not effective enough when stuff's running around. They're much more effective when things are in buildings. And obviously, he can't see any of these units. He's having to assume where they are, so he's going to be missing anyway with those bombers. Command vehicles coming in now for ElBowser. Not letting Sir Infernos getting quite the head start that he had last time on the points. And again, Foxtrot falling quickly. Those Pioneer Flams doing a lot of the work to clear the area. Could really do with being rearmed though. But lots more units coming in down there. Firm grasp of the center. A tank coming in to reinforce it. Up at the top, didn't really make much progress with that little push, but is certainly further ahead in terms of being able to scout and things. But I think, unfortunately for Sir Infernos, unless he manages to push back either hard at the top or in the center, I think this game is once again... Oh! That was lucky, because that pretty much was on top of his own units. And he has lost that bomber. Not a lot of AA at this side either to take out ElBowser's jet. Is there anything up at the top? The jet is going to fire at it, but I don't think that'll be enough. Oh, it is! Wow! Colour me impressed with that Jeopard. I wasn't expecting it to do it. I thought it was just going to tick a little bit, but did rip it apart. Credit to the Jeopard. Command vehicle in the center point now for ElBowser. Another command vehicle coming in for Alpha. Now +1 down at the bottom there. Reinforcements coming in at the bottom. We've got a supply truck coming in to rearm those Pioneer Flams. Very sensible. Would have liked to see it in the last game as well. And we have a command tank coming in to neutralize that point. Must be aware that there are some units there, I guess, because he is moving in some Jaeger. The tank just sitting at the back there. Panzergrenadiers there. Once these guys are rearmed, they're going to mince the Panzergrenadiers. Loads of units heading up this way now. Is he going to send them to the center is the question. He is moving the Alouette 2 over there to have a look at the center. Interestingly, no anti-air in the center this time. Now, last time we saw plenty of anti-air across the map for ElBowser. Hasn't spent quite as much money on it this time. I suppose he was probably expecting a lot of air spam from the 7th Panzer, whereas you don't get quite as much from the 5th Panzer. Yeah, those Fernsphere are getting pushed out at that point really, really easily by those Jaegers. That little vehicle just having a quick look. Those tanks and transport vehicles moving in as well, just to provide some support to the Jaeger. In terms of this, I mean, there's some Pioneers there. Pioneers also very good. They have the satchel charges. Anything that gets close is going to receive a satchel charge in the face. You see them throwing the satchel charges at that vehicle. It's not the best use of the satchel charges, but will be very effective once these infantry get close enough. But they need to be closer, or he needs to move the pioneers closer. If they're in this building or this building, they'd be making short work of these guys. Yeah, he's pulling those out. Yeah. Let's see if those pioneers move in these buildings. We might get to see the effect of those. Ah, that's Jaegers, not pioneers. Never mind. I thought it might be 2 squads of pioneers. The pioneer flammer moving up now. They have been rearmed. Zooming all the way out. Not a lot happening at the back. Not seeing a lot of attempts to go around the back of people so far in these games. It seems to not be happening as often now as it was before, even in other multiplayer games I've played. I know there's less emphasis on it for taking the initial points because you can't decap those anymore. MW1 coming in there. What is it going for? That just came in and died. It didn't even drop its payload. I'm not sure what it was aiming at. That's a shame. That's an unfortunate way to lose in MW1. So +5 now for ElBowser. Fairly confident, I think, in his position down here. Is just holding this. The lack of Pioneer Flams with the Hand Flam Patron is really meaning that Infernos is struggling here. I feel really quite bad for him. It's something you should definitely have in this deck. They are really good. Firm control of the center again. Loads of infantry in there. Not sure why he felt the need to fully reinforce that point, but very effective. Sir Infernos has again gone for defending this point rather than pushing the center. Defending this point, I mean, you can't really play the long... Oh, they're on the move. They weren't to defend that point. He is going to attack with those units, I think. Attack beacons down. I think from Sir Infernos. Oh, you know what he's doing? He's marking where those Rolands are. But ElBowser, being very sensible, is moving them after every time they fire. Jeopard's coming in there. Yeah. So ElBowser's going to go for an attack on Juliet. So he has the freedom to do that. There is no pressure on Delta. There's no pressure at the top of the map. All the fighting and all the concentration is going on in Foxtrot. And ElBowser can just keep that up. All he has to do is keep rearming his troops, especially the Flam Patrons, and going in and out while neutralizing the point. And at the same time can utilize units to push elsewhere. Unfortunately, I think just in terms of understanding the game mechanics and what units to be bringing in, I'm afraid that ElBowser has it. I mean, I think he's going to win this game. I mean, that's a Lars 2 from Sir Infernos being used against buildings and infantry. I mean, the Lars 2 is barely doing damage to vehicles at the moment, and it's not designed to kill infantry. I mean, it might collapse the buildings, but, you know, clicking on it there, if we just have a look, it's a penetration 9, HE 0.91. It's designed for armor penetration. Up here we have that hard push from ElBowser. Mainly lots of infantry, some Marders. I mean, it's certainly going to have no issue going in there. Clusters and things coming in response will take out the Marders, but not enough yet to take out the infantry that's there as well. Jeopard's coming in to deal with any more bombers. Still nothing happening at the top of the map. think ElBowser just resigned that his little initial push failed and can just sit there and defend while pushing every other point on the map. Reinforcements coming in here for Infernos, but probably not worth it. I mean, it's 2 squads there versus 5 squads there, plus a command vehicle being called in, 2 Jeopards at the back, Pioneer Flamptron coming in at the back as well. Yeah, I think this game is firmly in ElBowser's hands again, and yes, there's the surrender. Well played to ElBowser. Unfortunate for Sir Infernos, I think just very much outclassed there. But this is the point of this new tournament. It's this Swiss-style tournament so that people who don't do well in the first round will go against the people who didn't do well in the second round as well, to make things a little bit more balanced. Therefore, you know, Sir Infernos won't get placed against someone who is as good as ElBowser next time. Balances things out a bit, makes it a bit more fun as the rounds go by, and you don't get immediately eliminated by someone really experienced like Karma coming in. But that's those 2 first games of the tournament that were put up. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I will obviously cast other games as they appear. There'll be a lot of games to cast for this, so I might not cover them all, but since these 2 were up today and I had some spare time, I thought, why not? We'll crack on with them. But again, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon for some more WARNO.